You have a thesis topic and you know what the work involves, but you find it hard to define a concise title. I will talk about the do's and don'ts using one bad example that I drafted for this video. We'll analyze it and create a better title for the topic. Here's the title: Advanced Small Star Sensor with AI Processing Capabilities on Low Power STM32 for Reliable Orientation in 10 arcsec range for Pollux S1 and LEO. It's a topic from my domain, space engineering. For those who are not so familiar with the field, the star sensor is a sensor on a satellite that takes pictures of the stars. By detecting the star pattern on a computer, the satellite knows its orientation. That's all you need to know for now. Let's look at what's wrong with the title. I guess the first thing you'll say about it is it's probably too long. Yes, you want to keep the title roughly between 10 to 15 words. A little less, a little more is fine depending on the case. But let me start with something fundamental. To me, it's not clear what the student plans to do. Does he or she design the sensor, physically build it, write the software, or do all of it? The title is too generic. In this case, at least one word for the actual task is missing. We found that the student wants to implement AI-based software and verify the algorithms on board the satellite. We should add these words to the title. For now, our title seems to be getting longer, but we'll deal with that. Let's see if there's something we can eliminate. We want to get rid of all information that is secondary and not in the main scope of the thesis. I don't think it's important to mention the processor that we're using. Let's scratch that part. The accuracy of the sensors is just additional information. It seems that the focus of the thesis is to provide the reliability of orientation with AI-based algorithms. It is also not that highly important to know whether the satellite is in a low Earth orbit or another orbit. While I'm deleting the term LEO for low Earth orbit, I want to point out that we should avoid abbreviations and jargon that is too specific. Readers who are not familiar with the topic should be able to understand the title. Although space engineers know what LEO means, other engineers may not be familiar with the term. It was not necessary for this topic to mention the specific computer. We removed that too. I'm also not so happy with the term Pollux S1. Who knows what this is? It takes a while for outsiders to get that this is a space-related topic. It's not obvious that we're talking about a satellite here. It could be another space system or a telescope on ground. If we use a widely known name like the Hubble spacecraft, for example, that's totally fine. But in this case, we should mention that we're dealing with a satellite. Sometimes I get a title proposal from a student, it's not clear that it's a space-related topic. You want to show that your thesis is clearly in the context of your degree program. There are a few words in the title that are generic and don't add any value. What does advanced mean? Why mention it's a small sensor? Why mention it's a low-power computer? Go ahead and delete all those secondary words. There are two main approaches when it comes to the capitalization of the letters. Either you capitalize only the first letter of the whole title or the first letters of all significant words. Check if your college has guidelines regarding this. If not, choose one style and stay consistent. Although it's good to remove filler words, I often see that students eliminate too many words. In some titles, a crucial A or D is missing, and that makes them sound odd. Ask a native speaker to check your title. Also, thesis titles shouldn't end with a punctuation mark. I recommend that you write down several titles and iterate them with your supervisor. Coming up with a good title takes a while. Here are two alternative options for our initial title that I think are much better. Implementation and verification of robust AI-based star identification algorithms on board the Pollux S1 satellite. Robust AI-based star identification on the Pollux S1 satellite. Implementation and onboard verification. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to StudyFox. Feel free to check out some of my other videos related to writing a thesis. See you soon.